This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. 102 years after the Anzac legend was forged at Gallipoli, the sacrifice of our Australian war heroes has again been honoured. Despite looming rain clouds overhead, children stood side by side with veterans across Tasmania to commemorate the legacy of our diggers.
In darkness and in silence, thousands gathered before the crack of dawn at the Queen's Domain, honouring those who gave their lives for our nation. 102 years on since Australian and New Zealand troops landed at Gallipoli, Reverend Richard Humphrey spoke about the devastation war has.
In this world where injustice and evil seem to flourish, there will be times when war is justified and right. But remembering the cost will encourage us to see it as the last resort. We should not rush to the mother of all bombs when we have one father of us all.
In Launceston, rain drizzled but didn't affect crowds. Generations joining in song as stories of our country's heroes were told.
I would estimate the crowd at between 8,500 and 9,000. To see so many people come with the weather like it's been, it just blows you away.
Even though it rained, forces put up a lot worse than what we have.
Riverside High School student Tom Morton used his address to pay tribute to the 14,000 Australian soldiers besieged in Tobruk in 1941.
We live a relatively safe lifestyle, and we are free to determine our own future. We owe our gratitude and respect to those who have served and to those who continue to serve.
Children left their appreciation at the cenotaph. Adults toasted their ancestors with rum.
More and more these days you feel that you owe a lot to my father and my two grandfathers, who all served in Boer War, World War I and World War II.
It's good to remember where you come from and the sacrifices people made.
And to remember those still serving.
My nephew is fighting at the moment and looking at going overseas, so it's really important to support him.
We will remember them.
Monika Dadson, Southern Cross News.
Thousands lined the streets for Hobart's Anzac Day parade to pay tribute to those fallen and those still serving. Tasmania's first female governor used her maiden address to the Anzac service to honour the role of women in the World Wars.
Thousands, young and old, turned out on the streets of Hobart to commemorate Anzac Day and pay their respects to those who made the ultimate sacrifice.
To remember the old fellas that went over there and did their bit for us. Yeah.
It's pretty good considering the years have gone by and there's not a lot left, but it's good to see the kids taking part.
School students and community groups marched to pay tribute and to show that those who passed before them won't be forgotten.
The rare one, this one is for Antarctica. These two are Vietnam and these four are Good Boy medals.
Bands rousing the spirits of those in attendance, and with the music, flags were held high. For many, the march held a personal connection.
My uncles, my mum's brother, he was Royal Australian Navy, served in Vietnam, and his name was Ray Butterworth. He was killed by friendly fire in 1968. So, yeah, special day for the whole family.
Tasmania's governor used her first address to the Anzac Day cenotaph service to speak about the roles women played in the World Wars.
The first bravery awards for Australian women were given to 4 nurses. They, including Alice Ross King, received the military medal for risking their lives to rescue patients trapped in burning buildings after a German raid on the Western Front in France in 1917.
A roll call of fallen soldiers from recent battles was read as wreaths were laid. Record crowds gathering to not only remember ex-servicemen and women from past conflicts, but those currently serving overseas. Tributes on the ground and in the skies, proving the Anzac spirit is alive and well. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
In freezing conditions, expeditioners in Antarctica have also paid their respects. Dawn services held at each of Australia's Antarctic research stations. The temperature, a chilling -16 degrees at Casey Station when the flags were lowered. For some expeditioners, today was also about personal reflection.
18 years in the military. I was in the Australian Army as a communications technician, and I was operationally deployed on a number of occasions. The most significant of those were to East Timor and to Iraq.
The service was followed by games of two-up and an 8-ball competition. A Hobart woman is fighting for life in a Melbourne hospital tonight after suffering significant burns to her face and body following a fire at a Chigwell property. A 34-year-old man has been arrested and taken into custody.
About 11 o'clock last night, fire broke out in an outbuilding at this Karanga Drive property in Chigwell. A 20-year-old woman in a critical condition, suffering extensive burns.
She's in a very critical condition. It's very sad. She's been transferred to Victoria, and I would say that her condition is grave.
A 34-year-old man has been arrested and is in police custody. Forensic investigators on the scene today working to determine the cause of the blaze. Police are yet to lay charges but are treating the incident as a serious assault.
We're conducting investigations not only to determine how that young lady sustained her injuries, but to establish and to determine the extent of his involvement.
The relationship between the woman and the 34-year-old man is being determined, police confirming they had a history of family violence.
But I can confirm there were no family violence orders in place last night, but there is a history of family violence.
Whether or not the outbuilding was being used to manufacture drugs will also be investigated.
Our priority is to find out what's happened to this young woman, and if there was any drug paraphernalia or drug exhibits that fall out of it, they're things we would look at.
Chris Rowbottom, Southern Cross News.
Meanwhile, a family of 4 has made a lucky escape from their burning home in Tuna this afternoon. Anzac Day traffic slowed Hobart crews from getting to the property. When they did, they found the house well alight. The fire was caused by an electrical fault in the home's switchboard.
We've probably got smoke damage on all 3 levels and fire damage on the top level and part of the middle level.
No one was injured in the blaze, with an estimated $250,000 worth of damage caused. 2 men have broken into a Tasmanian takeaway store, damaging property and running off with frozen goods. The duo's Monday morning antics caught on CCTV. They smashed through the Prospect Fish Shop's doors, raided the cupboards and then grabbed a box of frozen fish before setting off the security alarm and fleeing on foot.
It was a tray of fish, so about $150 worth of fish. Hope they choke on it.
The store's owner also left to clean up the mess.
Just wish people that did go around destroying other people's property thought about what it was actually like to be on the receiving end of it. It's not real pretty.
Police are investigating, and anyone with information should contact Crime Stoppers. A Boat Harbour man remains in hospital tonight following a serious crash at Wynyard yesterday. The 73-year-old was driving a semi-trailer carting potatoes when he was allegedly struck by an unladen B-double truck on the Bass Highway. The man was initially taken to the Northwest Regional Hospital but was last night transferred to the Royal Hobart. He remains in a serious condition. Away from the cenotaph, thousands have turned out to remember the fallen. RSLs around the state were packed this afternoon with people spanning many generations who paid their respects with plenty of cheers, some tears and silence.
After the traditional march and services, crowds dispersed to local watering holes to while away the afternoon. At midday, the Claremont RSL was packed with people honouring the memory of the Anzacs.
Just to get together with good friends, good mates, relive old stories.
People getting together to share old stories and to make new ones.
A few quiet ones with friends and family, and probably back to Lindisfarne and member there, so I always make a nice afternoon of it and just enjoy the day and just reflect.
Many continuing a lifelong tradition with family and friends, not all commemorating in the same way.
We're going to go out for lunch with our family, I think.
But always with people that matter.
Renew old friendships and have a laugh and, yeah.
Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
A shortage of accommodation options is fuelling support for a proposed luxury hotel in Launceston. The local council has agreed to sell an inner-city car park to developers in an effort to see the multi-million-dollar project go ahead.
Last week it was the National Bands Championships. This week, Targa. Launceston's been busy, but one problem keeps coming back. There aren't enough places to stay.
And there was no room. People just couldn't find accommodation, so we know the hotels are needed.
It's why the local council's supporting a proposed 85-room high-end hotel for the city centre. At a council meeting last night, plans were given the green light to sell this car park to developers.
This is obviously a terrific parcel of land which has been really underutilised for a long period of time now.
The site is currently used by the harvest market on Saturdays. An agreement has been made to share the space.
It has the potential of creating a wonderful environment when you've got a really nice high-end hotel with such a unique product that the harvest market is right on its doorstep.
So this area around me will soon become a lot busier. The final development application will be submitted to council shortly, with construction expected to begin within 12 months.
The council predicts $14 million will be injected into the local economy if construction goes ahead. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
Anzac Day footy also being played at the local level. In the TSL, a blistering second half has seen Glenorchy easily account for Tigers as round 4 wrapped up.
Anzac Day footy at KG5, and even at the local level, the day still evokes plenty of emotion. Glenorchy hosting Tigers, and it was the Magpies striking first. Tyler Bowden getting his side on the scoreboard. He linked up with brother Jay minutes later, slamming home his second. A four-legged fan stopped play momentarily, trainers ushering a keen border collie from the field. Liam Smith jagged the Pies third, and things were looking ominous for the Tigers, but they soon had their first through Brandon Batchelor, a 19-point quarter-time deficit, not phasing Aaron Vince.
All right, we're doing a good job when we get the footy. We're working hard. We're leading up pretty well. Dangerous, all right.
Tigers having the better of the second quarter, and by the end of it found themselves only 14 points in arrears. It should have been less if not for this Marcus Davies brain fade on the siren that led to a certain Jay Bowden major. But it was all Glenorchy after the main break. Any hope the yellow and black had was snuffed out in a dominant 4-0 term. The Pies would pile on another 5-2 in the last to romp home to an easy 70-point win.
To the NPL, and Olympia and Zebras have fought out a 1-1 draw at Warrior Park. A long free kick from the visiting side caught the Olympia defence napping, Zebras taking a 1-0 lead in the shadows of half-time. But a slip-up from keeper Marcello Mercuri let Olympia back in. Hoy's shot bobbling off his hands to roll over the line, Olympia escaping with the draw. Jason White has retained a 17-second overall lead in Targa Tasmania after stage 2, but a 47-year-old Datsun is becoming talk of the town, leaving sports car rivals in its dust.
The Georgetown Superstage shook its surrounds. Fans flocking to the 4.8-kilometre circuit to witness the Matt Close show. His perfect Porsche netting top time on today's track, but Close remains in third overall. Instead, it's Jason White defending the #1 spot in the title race with a 17-second lead. He's followed by Tasmanian Michael Pritchard in second place. But one quirky competitor is causing quite a stir. This 1970 Datsun is sitting in 5th place in the classic category, ahead of hotted up BMWs and Alfa Romeos. Stage 3 leaves from Launceston to Burnie via Sheffield tomorrow. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
Good evening. Hobart 16 degrees today, Launceston and Devonport 19, Burnie a top of 18 degrees. A cloudy start to Anzac Day with valley fog and a few showers over the northeast mainly. Wynyard, Campania, Bushy Park and Flinders Island all 18. King Island, Low Head, Strawn, Friendly Beaches and Groves 17. St Helens 16 today and also 5 mils of rain. Low and middle level cloud is over Tasmania, linked with a cloud band extending over Victoria and New South Wales. A mid-level cloud band is to our southwest. Closer in, scattered low cloud over the state with heavier patches over the northeast and later the southeast. Tomorrow, an area of low pressure lies to our east with the attached cold front extending over New South Wales. A high lies over South and Western Australia. South to southwest winds are 20 to 30 knots, lighter inland, swells in western waters to 4.5 metres. Strong wind warnings on for all Tasmanian coastal waters, a small craft wind alert for the lakes and a warning to sheep graziers for King Island, the northwest coast, the Midlands, the east coast and also the southeast. Heading into tomorrow, 13 degrees and showery, but easing for Hobart. Showers easing too for Geeveston and Bothwell, 11 and 10 degrees. Launceston morning showers, a top of 14, 14.2 for Devonport, and Cressy a morning shower, 13 the maximum. Burnie a shower or two and 14, showers easing for Strawn, 13 the top, and similar conditions for Curry with a bit of wind about King Island, 14 degrees. And for St Helens, showers easing 14, 13 for Swansea and Orford. On Thursday, showers developing again over the west and far south, fine elsewhere after a morning frost. Partly cloudy on Friday, a shower over the west, far south and Bass Strait Islands. Similar weather for Saturday with showers contracting to the far south later. Sunny in Perth and Alice Springs tomorrow, a possible shower for Adelaide and Darwin. Showers as well for Canberra, Sydney and Brisbane.
And that's all from the Southern Cross News team for now. See you throughout the evening. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
For it is their values that have built this nation to be the strong and free Australia that we live in today.